This video didn't blow up, but it made over $17,000 in sales. So what made the difference? Well, in this video, I'm gonna share with you the exact structure I use to turn my content into cash. My name is Rakeem Madison. Let's get into the content. All right, so let's start out with the first thing that I did in this video, all right? So pay close attention as we're going throughout this. All right, so right here you can see it says, so you're looking for the best virtual phone system for small business. Now, one of the first things that I like to do in my videos is immediately confirm that the person is in the right place. Whatever my title says, whatever my thumbnail looks like, and whatever I say within the first 3 to 5 seconds is extremely important. Using the strategy that I use, which is really more on the search-based side, I like to meet the intent of the searcher. If I can meet their intent, they're going to watch longer. Obviously, it doesn't stop within the first 3 to 5 seconds. You have to keep getting them along throughout the video, right? There's certain things that you got to do, right? Most importantly, you have to meet the intent of the person. What do they want? Why did they click? If you can at least get them ready within that first 3 to 5 seconds, it's going to be extremely valuable. And if you ever struggle with those first 5 seconds, I built a free tool that helps with that exact thing. It's called the High Retention Hook Generator, and it gives you scroll stopping hooks that are no more than 15 seconds. Drop a comment down below that says hooks, and I will reply back to you with the link to get access. Now, let me actually show you proof that I did that. This is actually the data from that video. So you can see it has average view duration of 4 minutes and 8 seconds, and you can see it's a 14-minute video, and it has a 28.9 average percentage viewed. And if you look right here, it says 70% of viewers are still watching at around the 30-second mark, and you can see the chart right now. When you have a video that is able to hold somebody's attention like that, and it's a video that's meant to actually make you money, it's going to be beneficial for you because they're watching, and they're watching to the point where you give your call to action, which is extremely important when it comes to making money with video. Okay, so now let's move on to the next thing. All right, so the second thing that I did in this video, which still aligns with meeting the intent of the searcher, I actually did a little bit of research for this because I wanted to see the difference between the product that I was using and these other products, right? So I did a lot of extensive research to make sure that I was in alignment and so that I can keep the people watching. So I said, I'm going to be sharing with you a super cool system that combines phone and text marketing. Now, why did I say that? A lot of the other business phone systems that were out there, they were either real good at the text marketing or they were real good at the virtual assistant side, right? But there was a lot of them that didn't really bring it together, right? They didn't really do that very well. But the specific tool that I was using, it did it extremely well, right? Both sides were good, and that was something I had been using for a very long time, and I could prove that. So with me knowing that it combined both, I wanted to say that up front because I had been looking at reviews and all this other stuff, and everybody was saying the same thing. Oh, well, it has this, but it doesn't really do well with this. So with me knowing that, I made sure that I said that up front within that first 10 to 15 seconds, which is important for audience retention. All right. All right, so let's go ahead down here a little bit further. What was the next thing I did? Okay, so this is where I built trust without actually saying, hey, trust me in the video. Well, how did I do that? Well, if you look right here, we got all of these tabs. That's me in the video showing these tabs. And all I said there was, hey, these are the tabs. I'm gonna walk you through all of them. Just be patient. That way you know what it is that you would actually be getting access to, right? So that's me saying, hey, just give me a little time, but I'm gonna go through all of it. Don't worry, I'm not gonna leave nothing out, but here it is, all right? So that's me saying, hey, trust me without trusting me, me going through and showing you all of this stuff. All right, so let's move on to the next thing. Now, this part is extremely important, so make sure that you pay close attention here. I connected features to real revenue outcomes. What does that actually mean? This is when I showed them that I'm not just showing you a product and this is what it does. No, I'm showing you a product that I actually use myself. That right there is a trust builder. If they can see that I use this product, I'm not just trying to, hey, this product got extensions or this product got this and yeah, this is what you can do. No, hey, this is what this product has and this is how I'm already using it. So now they can kind of connect like, oh, okay, he's already using a product, so now I can see how I could use it as well, right? And that's what you want to do when you're talking about a product. All right, so let me show you the example. I said press 1, that connects to me. And matter of fact, let me just show you the visual. It's probably make a lot more sense. So this is the visual right here. And I was showing them, hey, if they press 1, it'll connect right to me. If they press 2, it'll send them a text with whatever offer I have, and then so on for 3 and 4. And then I showed them, the voicemail as well, right? So now they can see I'm not just sharing this video because I want to, earn income from it. I actually use this in my business to actually create automation for myself, which is extremely important because, once again, they can see how this can be used and use what I already have in place as something to model. Okay, this is how he has his. This is how I want to set my stuff up. All right. So let's move on to the next thing. Okay, so I repeated one powerful word, and that word was automation. Now, the word for you may be different. Obviously, this is a business phone system. It's supposed to save a business owner time, right? It's not adding any time. So since I knew that that was the main problem it solved, I focused on using the word automation a lot in different ways. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So it says sales on complete autopilot. That's one way to say automation. This eliminates manual follow-up. That was another thing that I said in the video. This number literally promotes everything that I have. Think about that for a minute. This number literally promotes everything that I have. So now I don't have to manually promote it myself. Somebody can call my phone, and if they hear something they like, they press 1 or they press 2 or they press 3, and it texts them with that information. If I have a video or something like that, or a VSL, whatever I have there, they watch that video, and I didn't even really have to talk to the person. So hopefully you're starting to see how a person could hear that and be like, oh wow, that's exactly what I want. Right? And that's what you kind of want to do with your stuff. It's not about focusing on the word automation. Like it's not about that. It's focusing on what is the main problem that your product solves, and focus in on saying things that align with that. All right. So hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, go ahead and drop me a comment down below. All right. All right, so let's go down. Let me show you some actual proof that I said this. So here it is right here. Here's the captions. Literally, it creates automation for your business. That was the one time I said it. Then I said it again. You can make sales on complete autopilot, right? Especially, and whatever I said after especially. But that was the part that I was talking about a little earlier when I was like, oh, if you press this, then you can literally be making sales. I gave them that visual. All right, so make sure you're giving a visual or learning how to paint that picture for them to hear it and kind of visualize it inside of their mind. All right. Next thing, I layered in extra value most videos skip. So since I had already focused in on the main problem it solves, which is time, now I can bring in the additional bonus things that might get them to take action on it. So what did I do? I talked about how with this same phone number that allows them to save time, this is also going to help you save even more time because it allows you to receive faxes straight to your email from the same number. They get 470 characters in text, not just 160, because at the time, a lot of the text marketing systems would only give you 160 characters that you could text. This one allows you to get 470 characters, so you can put a lot more inside of the text. All right. And then another thing, the ability to set up drip campaigns. Right. So with this, they can set up a keyword, somebody texts that keyword, and then they can have an entire campaign set up for weeks or even months. That way it goes back to the main problem, which is time. All right. And then replies are one-to-one, not group text. This is important because with a lot of those text marketing systems at the time, if you send out a blast text, let's say you got an email list and you want to send a blast text, with a lot of the other ones, when one person replies, they're replying and everybody that you sent out to is within that specific text. So you can already imagine how that can get pretty crazy, right? Now you got all these people replying, why are you texting me, and all this other stuff. Well, with this one, when you hit a blast text, what would happen is you're talking one-to-one. You're not speaking to everybody. You pushed it out to everybody, but you're only speaking one-to-one with that person if they reply. So that's what made this specific product stand out more than the other ones. All right, so that was an additional bonus. Now, obviously, that wasn't the main selling point, but these were additional value bombs that a person might be like, oh, okay, yeah, I like this one. It already solves my main problem, but this has some perks that's just, I'm just ready to take action now, right? All right, so now let's move on. And this right here was just another picture of me showing them, hey, it's 470 characters, so they could see it right there. All right, so let's go down. All right, so this part is obviously important. Obviously, in order to get people to take action, you got to give a call to action. So it's important that you give this, and I'm gonna give you some a little bit of advice here with this. I would recommend that when you talk about the main problem that it solves, that's where you want to give your call to action. Essentially, you want this a little bit earlier in the video, not like when it first starts, but you want to give it like once you know that you've covered the main problem that the product solves. Give your call to action, and then when you start talking about the additional perks and how it makes it even better, then you can of course give another one at the end. But it's important that when you solve the main one, give it right there, because it'll be a lot more natural, because now they see the true value of the product. All right. So now, oh, and this part right here. So it was low risk and it was a free trial. So this is something that I'll mention. All products aren't going to be free trials, but with this specific product at the time, it was a 30-day free trial. So they got to actually use the product. So I showed them how to use it. So now they can see, oh man, I get 30 days to test this out. And he already gave me a blueprint of how he's actually using it. Oh yeah, this is a no-brainer. I'm just gonna take action. And a lot of people took the free trial, right? Most people, what I was finding was that most people weren't going with the first plan. Most people were going with the second plan because they had this, like, I think they had like a 39, 89, and a 139. What they were doing for a while is they would make it to where you could get at the 89 and get what you could get at the 139. They ran that for a while and that worked very well. A lot of people were taking the middle, which was the $89 a month plan. That's how you can see I was able to make over $17,000, because a lot of people were taking that. And then some people were even still taking the $139 plan. Of course, those were bigger businesses, right? So it's important that you understand the main problem that your product solves. This is extremely important. Find a way to bring that into all elements and all the features, all right? All right, so now we're gonna go down. I'm gonna give you the full synopsis. All right. So the video made the money, and actually, I probably should have mentioned this earlier. The video made well over $17,000. Right. It wasn't $17,956. It was more close to $24,000 is what it was made. But the last screenshot that I took was the one that you saw on the thumbnail itself. So it made a lot more than that. But if the only result I have is this result, I don't want to tell you that it was for more, right? I wanted you to know that it made a lot more than $17,000. All right. Now, the main things were search intent alignment. The title, the first sentence, and the topic matched exactly what the buyer was looking for. Demonstrated proof. I didn't just tell, I actually showed the full back end walkthrough and how I was using it. Business use case integration. I connected features to money. I literally showed how each button could drive sales. And then low friction CTA, right? So in this case, it was a free trial, so no pressure, just try it free. Plus, I repeated the call to action. Essentially, those are the main 4 things that I did, and I feel those are the 4 top conversion points that you can do in any video to ensure that it actually makes money for you. Now, structuring your video is key, but if no one finds it, it won't matter. So I want you to watch this video next, because I show you step by step how I get my videos to rank on the first page of YouTube and Google using my simple to follow checklist. Look forward to seeing you on that video.